Welcome to Torch Hours. This winter seemed longer than usual, despite even leaving in the middle of it to South America. In this episode, we will be traveling from Toronto to Chile to hike the W Trail in Torres Del Paine. I will be sharing details about how we planned the trip and learnings that we picked up along the way. As well, of course, I'll be sharing the hike itself. About 20 years ago, I saw a documentary on the southern region of Patagonia, and I knew that I needed to go there myself. And since then, I have been stockpiling my Aeroplan points towards this trip. After my hiking group completed the West Coast Trail a couple years back, we set towards planning this trip. It probably took about a year and a half of planning. We had to coordinate as a group. If it's just you or you're going with one other person, you could probably organize this in about a year. We booked about 6 months out, and honestly, we really wish we had booked maybe about a month earlier. Our plan was to stay in pre-made tents and then take 1 or 2 nights to stay in a hostel just to break it up and have a change. And there were no indoor rooms available for us once we got down to booking. Of course, that wasn't the end of the world for us. It just meant that we didn't get that experience. But you can still go in and enjoy the restaurants and the bars if that's your thing, and all of those social aspects that come with that. We opted to stay in the pre-made tents to make it a little easier on ourselves. We didn't want to carry the extra weight, and we didn't want to deal with setting up and tearing down each day. We did choose to bring our own sleeping bags and mattresses. These can also be rented, but they do say to bring your own sleeping bag liner. We booked for the end of February and thought that would be ideal because it is our winter and their summer. I thought that I had done a lot of research into the area and the temperatures, but honestly, it was much colder than anticipated. I had only brought my summer sleeping bag, which goes down to 0 degrees, and I would say the temperatures got down to about 8 or 5 at night, but with those glacial winds, I was cold. I had to bundle up and still wasn't very comfortable each night. We left Toronto at the end of February. It was -9 and our flight was delayed because of a snowstorm, and we arrived in Santiago. It was a beautiful, dry 31 degrees Celsius. Quite a change. We decided to stay there a couple of days just in case our luggage was lost or our flight was drastically delayed that impacted our next travel plans. We want to make sure we had time to react and problem solve if anything happened on our way to Chile. Luckily, we didn't have any issues on our way to Santiago, and this meant that we could settle into our Airbnb in Barrio Italia and rest up and occupy ourselves with sightseeing without getting into all of the things that we did in Santiago. Here are some quick highlights. This is our home in Santiago for the next few days. A wiener dog.
¿Este es la Unión Española?
The day for leaving Santiago and heading towards Puerto Natales arrived. We got up quite early. There's only 1 or 2 flights that leave every day for this area, so you do need to make sure you book those well in advance of your trip. You should be prepared that even though it's 31 degrees in Santiago, it is going to be drastically different in Puerto Natales. Puerto Natales is on the water, and it is both a combination of wet and dry. And what I mean by that is it rains a lot, there's a lot of precipitation, you're going to see a lot of rainbows, but that glacial wind that just tears through that area dries everything out. It's a very interesting climate to experience.
Dear passengers, welcome to Puerto Natales.
We arrived in Puerto Natales with plenty of time to explore the town and get the propane we needed from one of the many local outdoor shops. We're in Puerto Natales, trying to imagine wearing a 40-pound pack with higher winds than this, and thinking at least my pack will be my anchor to the ground. Our Airbnb was well situated within walking distance of the downtown area of Puerto Natales and the bus station, which is where we would be departing the next day to Torres Del Paine. One other thing that we had pre-organized with our Airbnb is leaving our larger luggage behind at that Airbnb for when we return. We departed the next day in the dark to get to the bus station on time, and as we approached the major roads to get there, you could see the silhouettes of other backpackers making their way through town to the bus station. Good morning!
Good morning. It is 5:45, well, almost 5:45, and it's time for us. 7:45.
Basically, we're going where all the other hikers are going. Good morning, Lee. The bus station is organized chaos. I think it's for 2 to 4 hours in the morning. Buses leave just on a constant rotation to that park. And once you're on the bus, you can relax for a few hours as it makes its way to the park. Where are we off to today? What's our plan?
We will board the catamaran that will take us across Grey Lake
Okay.
to the glacier, and we're going to get an awesome view of the southern part of the glacier as it's there. I understand they also serve a drink, but I'll leave that when I see it.
Okay.
A pisco sour, and then which is the national drink of Chile, by the way.
Okay.
Is that included in our fare?
Sorry?
Is that included in our fare?
I understand.
Yeah. Welcome aboard.
Oh,
yeah.
deluxe.
Pisco sour, nice.
Someone can have one of
That's what I
mine.
saw on YouTube. Who knows what we're going to get, right?
Okay, true.
It's just sour.
Yeah.
No pisco.
Just sour.
No pisco.
But after that amazing view of the glacier, we're going to head over to the Refugio Grey, and there we will pitch our tents, pack our bags, and unpack our bags, and enjoy a couple of days.
Yeah.
We're going to do a glacier hike and 2 nights of good sleep.
Yes.
That's what we're doing today.
Sounds great. So we're on bus number 2. We got to some campsite
Kicked us off.
and they basically kicked us off the
Yeah.
bus, and then we had to find one of the red buses, the correct red bus that would let us take us and over to Lago Grey.
Yeah.
So that was about, I don't know, it's supposed to be about an hour from where they dropped us off. It was pouring rain and windy, so that just added to the
I
chaos.
smashed my head on the bottom of the bus.
Yeah, the guy parked the bus right next to the ditch, so to get our stuff out, you basically had to crawl into a cave.
Yeah. Angry driver.
Our car driver is not angry.
Yeah.
The buses all stop at the National Park office and they check to make sure that you have pre-purchased your park passes. You do need to purchase these in advance, so this is in addition to your campsites. You cannot purchase them there. The park office is also another place that you can use the restroom before getting back onto your bus. R had printed out one of these maps for each of us for the hike, but we really were expecting the park office to give us at least one larger version of this map for each group. That turned out not to be the case, so this is all we had. This map actually really suited us just fine in the end because the trail is pretty well marked. You really can't get lost. It's up to you if you're a map person and you feel better having a map. Just make sure that you print off a map before you leave home. When we got to Hotel Lago Grey and realized we hadn't received a larger scale map from the park office, I found this map at the hotel gift shop, and I think it was about $12 American. Don't quote me on that. And it is made out of that stone paper that's supposed to be pretty durable, somewhat waterproof, and tear resistant. Okay, magic. You're sitting right on the park. It's about 11:30. Well, in true Torres Del Paine fashion, weather gets in the way, and our boat is not going to take us across. So we have a backup plan, and I'll report back if that works out. We booked the last ferry of the day from Hotel Grey to Refugio Grey, and this is because that particular ferry does a glacier tour. We were supposed to take the ferry from Hotel Lago Grey to see and view the Glacier Grey, and then it would take us over to Refugio Grey. We had to do some very quick problem solving. We ended up getting a shuttle to take us back to Lake Pejo or Lago Pejo, and we had also purchased new ferry tickets to take us across to Refugio Paine Grande. And then we had to hike from this Refugio back to Refugio Grey because this is where we had booked our campsite. They had no room here because of the whole cancellation of ferries. And we also had booked hiking on Glacier Grey the next day, and that would be non-refundable. We had to run to catch this ferry. We are now on Lake Pejo on the ferry, and we are going to, I don't know what camp anymore, but we're gonna have an 11-kilometer hike from here to our original camp at Refugio Grey or Lago Grey. All right, it's snowing, guys. It's snowing. We got into our campsite at 10 p.m. They were waiting for us and the other campers because we had let them know we were still coming when we got to Lake Pejo, and it was pitch black. And we were told, just go into that forest trail and find our tent. There was about 4 or 5 forks in the trail, but we found the trail that took us to all the pre-made tents, and then had to look carefully and find the number of our tents, which happened to be in the last row in the far corner. And we set up and basically went to bed. We didn't have dinner, but that's okay. And the wind just howled, and I have to say I was cold. I didn't pack my warm sleeping bag because, again, I thought it was our summer and I thought it'd be more like the West Coast Trail, and I just wasn't prepared in that way. So we didn't sleep well, but we got up the next day early again, had breakfast, and set off for our pre-booked glacier hike.
Okay, let's go.
Wow.
That's the most beautiful color.
I thought it was my eyes.
Oh, yeah. That over there, that's the color of my eyes.
Okay, continue.
Remember how we want to take the ice axe? Leave a finger in the shovel and the rest in the blade. Okay, and the blade always looking backwards. Okay, like this.
This glacial puddle is all that remains of a large glacial lake that was there only 2 days earlier. The best tea ever. In the afternoon, we actually hiked up part of the O to somewhere around here. There's several suspension bridges, so we passed the second one, and then we had a view of Glacier Grey, and then we came back. And then after dinner, we went out, I think, to this peninsula right here to watch the icebergs while the sun set. Oh, there it is. There's the ferry that we didn't get to take. The first suspension bridge on the O section west of Lago Grey.
From up there.
We were incredibly fortunate to have this entire mirador to ourselves for the sunset. This is the tent camper space for cooking, showering, the washrooms, and there's a little tuck shop. We were happy to learn that each camp had hot showers. On our first official day hiking the W, we retraced our steps from Refugio Grey to Refugio Paine Grande. Hola! It is, I think it's Wednesday. We're about to do 11 kilometers. I'm just looking at the view above me. It's absolutely gorgeous. There we go. And you can tell, not sleeping super well. It's been cold and there's a lot of people snoring. You're just surrounded by snorers. I actually thought the first night that it sounded like we were surrounded by cows. But besides that, I'm in good spirits. I'm really happy that it's not raining. We're going to be passing through quite a strong windy area, which we already experienced, but in the rain, chasing the sunset. So here we go again.
Lee has pants that have no fly.
Yeah, Lee's wearing cycling pants. That's a condor. This is our descent to Paine Grande. We may not be saying it correctly. What is this?
What are your colors like? Turquoise like this time.
For the record, we did that hike in 3 hours the first night, and that was with the wind, the rain, and in the dark. Our view tonight. This was by far the windiest campsite of them all. The pre-made tents were bolted to the platforms. For those who had to set up their own tent, this was best done in pairs. I witnessed one camper lie starfish on their tent while their partner secured it to the ground. We have our own little garden of foxgloves. Hola! We are here at Paine Grande. My hiking colleagues have decided to do another hike, a sunset hike. It's rated easy, but it's right along the edge of the mountain, and I don't like hiking in the dark. and I didn't want to come down that edge. I decided not to go with them and just enjoy the sunset here, which will pretty much provide me with the same view. And I'm pretty happy just to have a few quiet moments to myself and reflect on this outstanding and unbelievable beauty. And then our next day, we hiked from Refugio Paine Grande to Camp Italiano, where we left our large packs and headed up to Britannico with our day packs. We stayed up here for a little while to take in the scenery, have some food, and then we headed back where we collected our big packs again and walked a couple of kilometers to Camp Frances right here.
Sure, look at the clouds on this side.
It's important to mention that if you plan on getting up early to start your hiking day at this campsite, the dining hall is locked overnight and does not open until 7 a.m., which means if you are planning to have a warm breakfast, you will have to wait for that dining hall to be opened. Day 2 on the W. We're heading somewhere over here. We're on our way to Italiano. Oh my god, it's so windy! You gotta be careful on these bridges so you don't get blown off.
Hours and a half.
On our way up the valley, we could hear the thundering and crashing of Glacier Frances. We found this lookout to be the most captivating of the day and stayed here for some time. Camp Italiano is no longer operating. Camp Frances is the closest campsite to Camp Italiano and is only 2 kilometers away. This would be our first night staying in raised tents.
Way far.
Oh.
You're literally like right opposite the charging.
Frances. For some reason, everyone hung out at the dishwashing station at Camp Frances. Look at this. You'll notice that these showers are shrouded in clear corrugated plastic. The women's shower area is located at the corner of the major junction of that entire campsite. Even though the showers themselves are closed and private, the change area is right in front of them. And if you get too close to the hooks that are on the wall, the corrugated plastic wall, you'll realize that everyone outside looks very clear. And that also means that you look very clear to them on the outside. So just a word of warning, if you find yourself at this campsite, stay about a foot away from the wall of that corrugated plastic. I could totally go for a shower. Men are over there. That little building right there is the second most popular building. Let's see if I can zoom in. It's the charging station. We stayed overnight and then headed out. We passed this camp or Refugio Cernos, and actually it looked really lovely. Both of these camps were great, and I don't think you could go wrong with choosing either one. So we passed through here, and then we continued on. There's sort of like two paths, so you don't actually want to go this way. You actually want to cut up along here, because that saves some kilometers. And you are headed to Camp Chileno. It's Friday morning. This is where we slept. That's the trail that we're gonna head out on towards Chileno. Yeah. And we slept to the sound of avalanches on the nearby glacier.
Chicken hot. I braced myself for windy paths, and to our surprise, there was no wind. There were a lot of you guys leaving us some goodies to navigate. You guys look tired.
There we go, check in straight ahead. Chileno is serviced by horses. They pick up all of the garbage and waste and deliver all of the essentials for this camp to run. Like their pizza, you have to try at least one of their pizzas.
One more step there. Good.
Oh, we got it. Reserve confirmed.
I don't want it. Step down. There's the middle guy.
There may have been an incident of someone walking in on someone showering. There may have also been an incident of someone trying to get into their tent, which is pitched on a very high and steep slope, that slipped and fell and landed in an extremely compromising position in front of a stranger. And there may have also been an incident of someone entering someone else's tent by accident because they all look the same, especially in the middle of the night. I can't take credit for that one. It's about 8 o'clock and we're in Chileno, and we're gonna get up at 3 a.m. So that's why I'm in bed now. It's much cooler at this campsite. It's a bit more humid and damp. We're by a big river. And thankfully, though, they gave everyone sleeping bags in their tents. So I'm going to use that as a second blanket because I saw that they actually just disinfect all of the sleeping pads and sleeping bags with maybe it smelled like Lysol. So I don't really want to go inside any of that equipment or that gear. But yeah, I'll be warm and hopefully we'll see something beautiful tomorrow. I'm sure we will, but the forecast is for a little bit of rain and cloud until 8, and we need to leave that area by 8. So, and the sunset or the sunrise is at around 7:15. So it's a bit iffy if we're going to catch the beautiful light, but we will complete the W by doing that.
We're here? Oh, we're not here?
How are you close now?
Oh, okay. No, we're here.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yes, I am. It is.
I'm glad that we got here and saw the stars, though.
Yeah, the stars are really neat.
This is the moment. But
That's why we climbed.
this is why we climbed. You have no idea what kind of ridiculous
Yeah.
climb we did in the dark.
Crying, I'm cold, I'm hot, I hate these beds. I love Look now, the last one I'm getting the light. See?
Yeah. Those are drones. I have left out some amazing scenic views and vistas and the trail itself, and that's because it's best to be experienced in person. And then we came back to our campsite and we picked up our large packs and we headed down this way to and past Hotel Las Torres to this area where you see the tent, there is a park office, and this is where you catch the shuttle back to where the national park office is, and then there you catch your bus back to Puerto Natales. Oh my god, I love Pinky and the Brain. We passed many day hikers who leave either from the hotel or from the welcome center. Hola. The ridges and those hills are cool. Oh, let's do it. The shuttle from the Welcome Center to the National Park office is by first come, first serve. Preference is given to those paying by cash, and if you are paying by credit card, be prepared to take the next shuttle. Make sure you have pre-purchased your bus trip back to Puerto Natales before arriving at the National Park office.
It'd be nice to see guanaco in one of the fields. Or a puma coming after us, that would make you look big.
Isn't it crazy to think that we were right, like,
underneath it, yeah.
there?
And that we hiked today and made it back in time for like 2 o'clock.
Keep an eye out for the next episode where we will be hiking through Argentina. Thanks so much for watching.